I never imagined my 20 years of loyalty would end with a cold, heartless text message, but there it was, staring back at me from my phone screen. Effective immediately, we are terminating your position. The company is moving in a different direction, and unfortunately, you are no longer needed. We appreciate your contributions, but remember, everyone is replaceable. Please return any company property by Monday. I read the message 3 times, my mind refusing to process it. Replaceable. After 2 decades of hard work, overtime and sacrifices, this was how they repaid me. No warning, no meeting, just a lazy text on a Saturday. My fingers tightened around my phone. This wasn't just disrespect, it was personal. I had given everything to this company. When they needed someone to stay late, fix problems, train new employees, I was there. When budget cuts happened, and they needed someone to take on extra work without a raise, I didn't complain. And now, after 20 years, they tossed me aside like I was nothing. The worst part? My boss, James Carter, hadn't even had the decency to call me himself. He sent the text from his assistant's phone. That told me everything I needed to know. I felt my stomach turn, rage burning through me like fire. I had seen other employees let go before, but at least they got severance, a meeting, a proper goodbye. Not me. Carter wanted me gone and forgotten. But what he didn't know, what he had never realized, was that I held the keys to something crucial. He thought I was replaceable. He was about to find out how wrong he was. He was about to find out how wrong he was. I sat on my couch, staring at my laptop screen. I had built this company's entire operational system. Every database, every client file, every process they relied on, I designed it. The entire infrastructure ran through my knowledge, and while Carter might have fired me, he had made one fatal mistake. He hadn't revoked my access yet. That meant I still had control over everything. I wasn't some disgruntled ex-employee looking for petty revenge. No, this was justice. Carter wanted me gone because he thought the company could survive without me. I was going to show him exactly how wrong he was. But I couldn't just delete files or crash the system. That would be too easy. Instead, I needed a plan. A way to make him suffer, a way to make him watch his empire crumble, knowing he had caused it. I clicked into the financial database and pulled up the client records. These weren't just emails and phone numbers. These were the deep connections, contracts, and confidential deals that made the company successful. If I had this information, it meant I had leverage. Carter had underestimated me. He thought I was just another worker, another cog in his machine. But I was the one who kept the machine running, and now I was about to walk away with the tools to dismantle it completely. The more I dug, the more I realized just how reckless Carter had been. He wasn't just a terrible boss, he was corrupt. I found hidden transactions, inflated expense reports, and backdoor deals that looked illegal. My heart pounded. This wasn't just about getting fired unjustly. This was about exposing the truth. If I could gather enough evidence, Carter wouldn't just lose his company, he'd lose everything. I took screenshots, downloaded files, and backed up everything on a private drive. I knew I had to move fast. Once Carter realized his mistake, he'd cut off my access. But by then, it would be too late. The damage would already be done. I had everything I needed to bring him down. But I wasn't going to make my move yet. No. I wanted to watch him panic first. I wanted to see the look on his face when everything started falling apart. I closed my laptop, leaned back, and smiled for the first time that day. Carter thought I was replaceable. By Monday, he was going to regret ever sending that text. By Sunday morning, I had a full plan in motion. I wasn't going to storm into the office, yelling and demanding respect. That would be too predictable, too easy. No, my revenge had to be smart, subtle, slow. I wanted Carter to feel the walls closing in, to experience the same helplessness he made me feel when he sent that text. The first step? Letting the cracks in the company start to show. I spent the next few hours analyzing the company's entire structure. I had built their systems, their security protocols, their financial processing tools. Without me, everything ran on borrowed time. The servers were dependent on my configurations, and the customer management system was only fully understood by me. But the real gold mine? The financial records. As I dug through the system, I found something Carter never expected anyone to see. A hidden set of transactions buried deep in the company's ledgers. At first, they looked like routine expenses, vendor payments, operational costs, consulting fees, but the numbers didn't add up. The same consulting firm had been paid large sums of money every quarter, yet no one in the company had ever heard of them. The firm's name? Carter Solutions, LLC. I froze. My heart pounded. Carter was embezzling money. I stared at the numbers, my brain racing. Carter had been stealing from the company, funneling millions of dollars into his own private firm. That explained why budgets had always been tight, why raises were rare, why employees were overworked. He was hoarding money while telling us the company couldn't afford better salaries or bonuses. The realization lit a fire inside me. This wasn't just about me getting fired unjustly. Carter was a thief, a liar who had profited off of my hard work and that of everyone else. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about justice. I quickly downloaded copies of every suspicious transaction, creating a private backup. The best part, since I was still technically an employee until Monday, everything I accessed was completely legal. I could use this evidence however I wanted. Carter thought I was powerless, but in reality, I held his entire career in my hands. Now, it was time to make him sweat. Monday morning arrived, and I stayed completely silent. I didn't show up at the office. I didn't respond to his assistant's email asking for my keycard. I wanted Carter to believe I had moved on. Meanwhile, the chaos had already begun. At 8 a.m. sharp, system errors started popping up. Minor glitches at first, delayed email notifications, corrupted files in their shared drive, small but frustrating issues, the kind of problems that no one else knew how to fix but me. Employees panicked. IT staff scrambled to figure out what was happening. By 9 a.m., a major client database malfunctioned. Sales teams couldn't access client histories, customer service couldn't pull up records, and urgent deals started collapsing. By 10:30 a.m., I got the first email from Carter. Subject: Urgent, need your help. Hey, I know you're probably still upset, but we really need you this morning. We're having some major system issues, and it would be great if you could come in and help us sort this out. Let's be professional about this. I laughed. Be professional. He fired me by text and called me replaceable. Now he needed me? I didn't respond. Not yet. By noon, things got worse. The accounting system started showing duplicate transactions, causing mass confusion. Employees couldn't process payroll correctly, and managers panicked over financial discrepancies. I imagined Carter sweating in his office, watching his company fall apart in real time. By 1 p.m., my phone buzzed again. Another email from Carter. Subject: Let's talk. Look, I know we ended things on bad terms, but let's put that behind us. We could really use your expertise today. I'm willing to pay for your time. Just name a reasonable rate. I smiled. Now he was begging. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted Carter to feel completely helpless. I wanted him to realize exactly how much he had lost. By 3 p.m., clients started calling, angry about missed deadlines. At 4 p.m., Carter called my phone 5 times in a row. I let them all go to voicemail. Finally, at 6 p.m., I responded with a single cold message. James, I appreciate the offer, but unfortunately, I'm no longer available. I'm moving in a different direction. I'm sure you'll find a suitable replacement. The same words he used on me. By Tuesday morning, the company was in freefall. Employees were scrambling, clients were furious, and Carter was desperate. I woke up to 10 missed calls, 5 emails, and even a LinkedIn message from Carter. The same man who fired me through a text on a Saturday was now begging for my help. But this was only the beginning of his downfall. I took my time, sipping my coffee while scrolling through the chaos I had created. Employees were venting on social media, complaining about mass system failures and their inability to access critical data. Clients were threatening to pull their contracts because important deadlines were being missed. The IT team was completely lost, trying to fix problems that only I knew how to resolve. And the best part, Carter still had no idea I was behind it all. At 9 a.m., another desperate email came in from Carter. Subject: You are Gent. Let's fix this. I understand you're upset, but this is bigger than us now. We need your help before we start losing major clients. Let's talk. We can work something out. Name your price. Name my price? Oh, this was getting good. By noon, the company's biggest client, Horizon Tech, announced they were pulling their contract. That was a multi-million-dollar deal, gone just like that. The financial losses were now impossible to ignore. I could almost hear Carter screaming at his team, demanding answers they didn't have. By 2 p.m., Carter sent me a text, a real one, from his own number this time. James Carter, please just come in, let's figure this out. I know I made a mistake, let's fix this before it gets worse. I smiled. He was cracking, but I wasn't ready to stop yet. I had something bigger planned. That afternoon, I made a move that would seal Carter's fate. I had already secured all the financial records proving he was embezzling money. Now, I needed leverage. So, I reached out to his biggest competitor, Titan Innovations, a company that had been trying to poach me for years. I sent a simple email. Subject: Interested in a game changer. Hi, I'm sure you've heard about the recent disruptions at Carter Industries. I have inside knowledge, critical data, and an understanding of their clients that could give you a serious edge. If you're interested, let's meet. A free agent. Within 20 minutes, I got a response. Titan Innovations, we've been waiting for this email. Let's talk today. Game on. By 5 p.m., I was sitting in Titan's executive boardroom, across from their CEO, Lucas Reynolds. He was a shark in a suit, known for ruthlessly taking down competitors, the perfect ally. I laid out everything, the failing systems, the lost clients, and Carter's hidden fraud. Lucas's eyes lit up as he saw the opportunity in front of him. If you come work for us, he said, leaning forward, we can do more than just take their clients. We can acquire what's left of Carter Industries and crush them for good. I grinned. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. By the time I left that meeting, the plan was in motion. Titan was going to swoop in, absorb Carter's biggest clients, and leave him with nothing. And me? I'd be running the entire operation from the other side. By 7 p.m., I sent one final message to Carter. James, I appreciate the offer, but I've decided to take my skills elsewhere. Good luck fixing your mess. A replaceable employee. By the time he read that email, his entire empire was already crumbling. By Wednesday morning, Carter Industries was in free fall. Employees were frustrated, clients were furious, and Carter, he was desperate. I woke up to another flood of emails, each one more pathetic than the last. The same man who fired me through a text message was now begging me to return. At 8 a.m., Carter called me again. I let it ring, twice. Then, just when he was about to give up, I answered. Silence. I could hear his heavy breathing on the other end, the kind that comes when someone is sweating bullets. Hello, James, I said, leaning back with my coffee in hand. There was a long pause. Then, finally, we need to talk. Oh? About what? I said casually, as if I had all the time in the world. Another pause. He hated this. He hated being the one to crawl back, but he had no choice. I made a mistake, Carter admitted. I should have never handled things the way I did. I know you're angry, but we need you. Just tell me what it'll take to bring you back. I smiled. Now he was negotiating. I let him sit in silence for a moment, just to make him squirm. Then I finally answered, James, the problem isn't my price. The problem is... I trailed off, then delivered the final blow. I don't work for failing companies. Boom! Silence. Carter inhaled sharply, clearly not expecting that. We're not failing, he snapped, but there was an edge of panic in his voice. Oh, I laughed. Because, from what I've heard, your biggest clients are leaving. Your system is a mess. Employees are quitting. I mean, I'd love to help, but... I sighed, pretending to be disappointed. I'm already working on something better. What does that mean? He demanded. I smiled. Now it was time to break him. I just had a meeting with Titan Innovations, I said slowly, letting the words sink in. They're very interested in your biggest accounts, and, well, since I built the system, they thought I'd be the perfect person to help transition those clients over. You're working with Titan, Carter shouted, panic finally breaking through. Oh, James, I said, mocking the way he had dismissed me before. Everyone is replaceable. Then, I hung up. Within 2 hours, news broke that Titan Innovations was acquiring Carter's biggest clients. It was like watching a domino effect in real time. One after the other, companies dropped their contracts, eager to follow me to Titan. Employees at Carter Industries panicked, seeing the writing on the wall. By noon, I received a text from an old co-worker. Dude, Carter's losing it. He's screaming at everyone. He fired the IT team. I think he's scared. Good. He should be. By 3 p.m., Carter sent one final email. His last attempt at survival. Subject: please. Look, I know things got out of hand. I made a mistake, and I see that now. I need you to come back. I'll double your salary. I'll give you a senior position. Just fix this before it's too late. Name your terms. I stared at the message for a moment. This was it. The man who fired me with a 2-line text was now offering me everything. But I didn't want his money. I wanted him to lose everything. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the fraudulent financial reports I had uncovered to the company's board of directors. At 5 p.m., news broke that Carter was under investigation for embezzlement. By 6 p.m., the stock plummeted. By 8 p.m., Carter Industries was finished. And I was on top of the world. By Thursday morning, the walls had completely closed in on Carter. The embezzlement scandal was all over the news, employees were jumping ship and clients were cutting ties faster than he could respond. I sat back, watching the chaos unfold like a masterpiece I had painted stroke by stroke. Every desperate attempt he made to fix things only made it worse. At 8 a.m., I got a text from one of my old co-workers. Carter just held an emergency meeting. He looks like a ghost. He knows he's done. Good. He deserved every second of it. By 10 a.m., Titan Innovations officially announced that they had secured Carter's biggest clients. The deal was signed, and Carter's former business partners had no loyalty left to him. Why would they? With me at Titan, they had everything they needed. The company that I had helped build for 20 years was now being swallowed whole, and I was holding the fork and knife. But there was one final piece left. The ultimate finishing move, and it was time to deliver it. At noon, I got a call from Carter. His voice was shaking. Listen, he started, trying to sound calm but failing miserably. I know we had our differences, but you can't let this happen. I smirked. Oh, now he wanted to talk about fairness. You did this to yourself, James. No, I didn't. His breath was ragged. You don't understand. The board is turning against me. They're talking about removing me as CEO. I stayed silent, letting him sit in his panic. You have to come back, he continued. If you come back, you can fix this. We can rebuild. I'll make things right. I let out a low chuckle. James, I said, repeating the words from his own text. The company is moving in a different direction. Unfortunately, you're no longer needed. Then I hung up. And just like that, Carter knew it was over. By 5 p.m., the board of directors held an emergency vote. It wasn't even close. Carter was removed as CEO, effective immediately. By 6:30 p.m., news broke that Carter was being formally investigated for financial fraud. The shareholders had demanded an audit, and the results were ugly. Millions of dollars had been misappropriated, and now he was looking at possible jail time. By 8 p.m., Carter officially resigned, hoping to save what little dignity he had left. But there was nothing left to save. The company was gone. His reputation was ruined. He had fired me thinking I was replaceable, and now he was the one who had been replaced. And me? I had won. A month later, I sat in my new office at Titan Innovations, a corner office with a 6-figure salary, full benefits, and a team that actually respected me. My new boss treated me like gold, knowing exactly how much I had brought to the company. That morning, I got one final email from Carter. Subject: I hope you're happy. I lost everything. I hope you know that. I hope ruining me was worth it. I stared at the message, debating whether or not to respond. Then I finally typed back. Jormens, I didn't ruin you. You did that all by yourself. Then I hit send. And with that, the chapter of Carter Industries was closed forever. Carter thought I was replaceable. Turns out he was.